Hello and welcome to this review of Splines. It's a new module from Thorn Audio. Splines is the name of the module, but it's also a common mathematical function. Basically, it's a way to connect between 2 points and create a curve with different attributes. I'm not going to pretend as if I would understand the mathematical background of this, but I'm blending in a few examples of these curves that came to my mind when I looked this up, and probably you are using them every day. It's the second module from Thorn Audio. The first one was the VC-LFO. It's over here in the rack. You can see it. It's outside of the screen, which is the killer LFO. Lots of features for the money. It's a solid build. I really like it a lot, and I can just recommend it, and will probably do a video about it as well. If you ever brought in some gear into the repair workshop of Schneidersladen, then for a few years this would have been the guy who fixed your gear. Now he's making modules, and I really like the design language and the approach. Yeah, I'm a big fan already. In the manual for Splines, you can find hot links for the parts that are built into this. You can find everything to build your own firmware for this, and you're even invited to do so. I think this tells you already what kind of person he is. I think I really like this approach, and personally I would like to see more of this in Eurorack generally. So what is Splines? It's a signal generator. This can be said, but it's really up to you what you see in it. It's really in between the worlds. It's not really 100% a modulator for automation, for slow modulation. It's also not 100% signal generator. It can really be both in both directions. When I asked her, when I met him at Superboost about where the idea come from, he described it of being an interpretation of all the ornament and crime modes at once. It originated also about in the idea of a sequencer and what can happen in between the steps, how can the steps be linked together, and how can we interpret this concept a little differently. So in essence, we are connecting different nodes with these spline functions. We have attributes to change the function, and then we're getting a curve. But also the node itself carries information, like it can be a gate, a trigger, it has a probability for it. We have in total 16 of these nodes, and I mean, when you see this, you could think of like a Serum LFO, but it's similar, but it's not the same. And instead of clicking our points, while zooming in and out, collecting how many nodes we want to have. Then there are these controls that change the attributes of the spline functions: continuity, bias, and attention. So these create a curve, and together with the clipping function, then we get wave shapes that remind of wave folding. So we can create really complex shapes. But it's up to the user how you see it. Like, give me this in a fast audio rate oscillation and be a voice, or cycle slowly through it, and you have CV for these functions, or give me the information you carry on the individual nodes. Yeah, we can also scroll through it. We have X and Y axis that we can change on each node. With these two buttons, we can select which node we want to move, and then we have X and Y. And yeah, there you can already see how powerful this is. Probably something that I will repeat during this video because it's amazing. Yeah, and it's always a play of driving, not really driving, but folding against the ceiling where the clipping function happens. We have this fold, and we have also wrap, which is more extreme. On the module, we can access a menu. There is a preset browser where we can save, load, and change presets, which is really nice. And the presets can be color coded. So loading an LFO, the UI can become blue. Loading a VCO patch, the UI becomes yellow, and you can change that. Really nice. There's some settings and some sync options for the sequencer and stuff. There's also scales. I think you can also flash load more scales onto this module. Here's the UI color. There's also attenuation and scaling, offsetting for each input. Let me just quickly put in voltage from Batumi. Let's view the bias. So here's Batumi, and then similar, maybe some of you know this from something like the graphic VCO. And then on board you can scale this and also offset it. Yeah, this is so nice with digital modern modules. It saves you a lot of utilities and makes it a lot more flexible. And you have this for each input. Here's a back escape button. Yeah, so overall, really nice menu. It's all very responsive, and I particularly like just the continuity of changing these spline functions. You can also, maybe let me simplify this so you can see. So there's also, if you push this right encoder, you can change between a really fine control, a stepped control, and continuous. I think continuous. It's a C. Yeah, it's still very fluid, but not so super fine as this fine option. Yeah, I like a responsive and nice fluid UI. And also the sound just reflects this, like smooth, tiny changes. Later in the video, we will probably see this when we use this as a modulator for FM, because then these really tiniest bendings of a waveform in some patches, especially with FM. This is where you like a nice fine resolution of things and the ability of really exactly nailing down the shape you want. So in this patch we are approaching Splines to use it for a slow random changing voltage to modulate our pitch CV. In this patch we are using the DPVCO, ripples, data bender, theta for some morphing envelopes. This slowly morphing shape is going to the pitch, and it's also an inverted copy is going to the pitch of the modulator for this FM pitch. Let's just take a listen to it. Let me play with the FM depth a bit. coming from this previous patch where we used Splines as a smooth random voltage generator for smooth, slow, random voltages for the pitch sequence we just heard. We are now changing perspective, changing heads. It's the same model, but it's changing its job now. And I think this is what makes it so powerful and so useful and so inspiring, and where it also might help you to learn the fundamentals of sound design, synthesis, electronics. Even it's a powerful design and powerful thought. So let's just change a few settings. And when you ever spend some time in Vital or Serum using the warp functions, crafting different wavetables, I think when you see this, you will immediately see and know, like, oh, this is interesting and useful shapes. I think we know what a kind of powerful wavetable looks like for lead sounds with rich overtones and strong mid-range, and that are juicy and liquid and classy and everything. Yeah, let's just change a few settings. Watch this wonderful display. And first, of course, let's raise the frequency from the audio territory into the audible frequency range. And we are keeping the modulation from Batumi, but all we are changing for now to this page from the last one is just, instead of using splines for the pitch, it's now the voice and going into the VCA that it's then receiving SADA, going into the filter, data bender, delay, and so on. Oh, key of this design, and I think this is just where things came together. That's how I understand it from how you described the process to me. What now makes this so powerful in this other dimension is this, what is here labeled as clipping, and we have a few different options, and just change this to wrap. And now let's drive into that wrapping wave folding function a little bit, and I think you can already see. And let's change the few of the other settings more. Oh, I added a knob recorded quantized voltage to the 1 volt per octave input to change the pitch. Without it, it's static. Let me change the frequency so you can hear it. It's now basically like a wave. It just became a wavetable-like voice. It doesn't really sound wavetable, more like West Coast style of wave folding. It's just such a nice sweet spot of these spline functions, like these main ones, like tension and continuity, going into this clipping function, into wrap or fold. Same patch, just put through the mutable instruments ripples and a bit of the Erica delay, and let's just take a listen to this. So it really is the ability to move the different nodes in the different axes. It is what makes this so powerful as a custom waveform, wavetable like designer kind of thing. And if you ever spend time in Serum or something building wavetables and making a nice strong lead, like for example something like this one is a shape that could work, like having denser oscillations on one side of the frame, and then some synced like saw portion, and this kind of mixture often makes for a good lead sound. Making this, combining different sections in one frame, you could say so. That's often something that can sound good. Maybe let's get this out of the frame, maybe even. Maybe something like this. Let me mute my mic and play a bit with kick and bass in context. So in this patch we are using Splines as the modulator for FM. The oscillator is DPVCO. It's getting sent through with different effects and then filtered through ripples, and the level in Splines gets modulated, so this works as our FM does. But while I tweak this patch, I will also tweak the FM depth, the FM knob on the DPVCO itself. So we have like two levels of how deep the FM goes. Something that is jumping, and then I will tweak this knob smoothly on top. So it's a interplay of this. What comes in here is so nice is really the high resolution of the vector shapes. That gives us all the different timbres. So something that has a really high resolution and is fine scaled is key when using an external modulator for FM instead of using the internal ones of a complex VCO. Yeah, let's mute my mic and let's tweak this patch a little bit. again in this patch using splines as a voice, as a wavefolding like thing, slowly morphing the shape. The splines output is getting copied 4 times. It's sent to multigrain, to smooth the audio smear, to the data bender, and 1 dry copy. The 4 copies are then morphed through Shakmat Aeolus seeds, and this is then going into the VCA, receiving 4 times SADA mixed with the snappy envelope from Nano Serra, and this is then filtered through ripples and going into the Erica Synth delay. Let's check this one out, take a listen. Yeah, you can really get lost in noodling around with the node positions and the settings. This is still figuring out, experimenting, not really with the straight intention, just exploring. But I think after one has internalized this kind of design, I think there are even more wave shapes possible when you really intentionally use the function, probably much more minimalistic, but more intentionally to achieve different specific kind of shapes. This is so far just noodling and experimenting. Yeah. So, and to have a look at about what this module was initially thought about as a sequencer, let's check out from the built-in presets the step sequencer externally. We are getting a clock signal from PAMS, and oscillator is DPVCO just for demonstration. And let's load this one. So when using splines like this, we are setting node by node if it's a trigger, a gate, or if it's deactivated. And yeah, let's just build a simple sequence from here on. The node Y position becomes our volt per octave output signal information. And yeah, then we're going from node to node, and each node is a trigger, gate, or deactivated, and each node has a probability setting. So let's go from here. And what comes in handy by when you want to edit a sequence is this function of let me turn this down a bit, of pressing down one of the push buttons, and then you can select either the node you're on and the one next to the one next to it. I don't know how to say it, and like the direct neighboring one and its next one, and then from there you can select all these, and in this case we are on probability. Select all the probability together to, let's do 60%. It doesn't matter. And so we have a basic sequence. And now oh, let's introduce some more probability first. Just randomly, so the sequence is not that static. So we have a basic simple sequence, and to demonstrate this concept, let's go back to node Y position. Select all these, and now their position through the 1 volt per octave output is our pitch information. And now from there you can not that this really, it's not about sounding good on this patch, it's just for demonstration. And when now imagine this becoming fun. I haven't actually tried that. Let's do it together. Let's use just these. Maybe it will sound good on this patch, but I don't think so. But I think the fun is then probably to, instead of using the 1 volt per octave out, using the splines out to get a sig or voltage for our pitch. Maybe let's slow down Pam. And I think this is probably about where this idea originated. Like, what can happen in between the steps of a sequencer? How can we define this? What happens in between, and how can we use it? And it's interesting how it is both like the sequencer through the information that is on individual node and the curve it creates. So there's always coherency there. Again, I think this is something that is up for further experimentation and exploration of this model to make use of this. Yeah, like I said, it's not where my ideas focused around when I saw this concept. I was much more thinking about like a voice, a wavetable. But I think there's a lot of fun in this concept to explore, and these shapes, I just see the potential in all of this. Let's check out Splines working as an envelope generator, or oscillator as Chaos Devices Odessa, filtered through mutable instruments ripples, FM'd by the Thorn Audio VC-LFO, which is outside of the screen here. The red trace in data is the gate coming from the BeatStep Pro, and the yellow trace is the Splines working as an envelope. And let's check out this example first. it's not important how this sounds, just showing the principle here. What we can now do is similar to Chaos Devices Zadar, is changing the speed of the envelope, which is displayed here now in milliseconds. You can change it in the settings if it's displayed in hertz or milliseconds. And now we can change the frequency, and let's look at the envelope and take a listen. So by doing this, we're getting this kind of effect, and of course the frequency is, we can modulate the frequency through the 1 volt per octave input. But what now will come in handy is the zoom function, because then we can do this. And I think when I would use this as an envelope, I would oftentimes prefer doing this kind of thing instead of modulating the frequency. But we have no CV over Zoom yet, but there can bring in some good news that an expander for Splines is in the works that will give us CV over Zoom and scroll, and I think a bank of attenuators for the other ones, similar to the expander. I think it's Axon 2 for Pamela, something like this, I guess. And yeah, let's take a listen how this sounds. So obviously really nice when you want to dial in some really precise envelope shape, with really precise control. And I guess when the expander is here, this is just perfect for this kind of lead envelope, to get it like really tight, really tight, really on point. And to modulate the gate length, I have not plugged it in here right now. Normally, this is actually going through mass, and with the end of cycle, or is it end of release, end of rise, end of fall, end of something, I can change the gate length. And this is how I often get different gate lengths into my Serum envelope, which is usually doing the snappy leads. But with something like this, with this kind of digital precise control above the envelopes, to do this kind of thing, we don't have to spend time changing the gate length. We can just trigger it and do everything about the envelope shape in the module. Yeah, another thing that I haven't initially thought about to do it with Splines. I thought it's a bit overkill to use it like this, but sometimes you want to nail down lead sound really, and the envelope is everything to get it precise and groovy and everything. Yeah, maybe just take to listen to this patch just for fun for a minute. editing Kythera here. I hope you enjoyed the review of Splines, and please follow my Instagram, tell your friends, and let me know what you want to see else on this channel, as I hopefully can review a few other modules and can do the but does it Psy thing, you know. And yeah, cheers, see you in the next one.